So for today's video, I want to talk about some underrated products and accessories for clothing brands. Of course, there's always going to be graphic tees and hoodies and things of that nature that will continue to do well for a lot of brands, but I think a lot of the main products that you see for most brands has become, more and more difficult. You have to look at how you're going to differentiate more and more. And so today, I want to talk about some different products that I think might be a little bit easier to break into to get some initial sales that I think still have a lot of room for creativity and iteration within the space. And also, I think a lot of these things have naturally built in margins that are pretty good and honestly a lot better than a lot of the other products like your cheese, your pants, your hoodies, and whatnot. So, yeah, I kind of want to go over all of that and then give you some good examples and, yeah, take away whatever you will. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, cool. So, first thing I'm going to talk about is glasses. Now, a lot of these you'll be able to kind of find your own samples and do a lot of this work just finding manufacturers on Alibaba. A lot of these you probably don't have any experience with making before, so I would literally just go to Alibaba for a lot of these and look for custom manufacturers, work on samples, molds, see how things are priced, and see what makes most sense for you. So with glasses, the first one I want to start with is this unreleased thing by this is the creator of Came Up in the Drought. Really cool brand based out of California, I think LA. And yeah, it's essentially these pencil shades. It's got this orange frames with just yellow like pencil frames and or the side of it, and then the little like cloth that you use to like clean the glasses is that this like notebook or sheet from a notebook. Yeah, I think it's like really cool. Again, a lot of these I think have a lot of room for innovation and creativity. So I think just in general these products are pretty untapped and have not a lot of people out there innovating on these. So another example I'll come up with or I'll show you is this brand Fishing for Scale. They did these bullet frames. Again, I don't think it's too expensive to really like sample these. Maybe a couple hundred tops. But naturally, the margins for a lot of these, because they're so creative and there's not a lot of stuff like this out there, will do very well. Again, like the frames themselves probably didn't cost very much at all. It's all about the side details, like these little bullets. They've done other ones. They did these circuit frames. Again, I don't know how difficult it is to actually go about making these. This is something that I'm exploring personally with this product specifically. But yeah, just experimenting in a either 3D system. I don't know, maybe like a Blender or something like that, or mocking things up in a Photoshop or Illustrator, and then working with the manufacturer to get them made might be the route to go about making something like this. Going from watches, the other one I was going to bring up after that is going from glasses is watches. I think there's a lot of room for brands to do cool stuff with watches, whether it is just like the dial itself or it's like the actual like wristband or Perfect World is doing both. Again, this is very in line with Fish for Scale and their brand. They have the AK-47 second and minute hand, and then you have the branding, of course, and then the actual like wristband itself. And I think they charge like 200 to 300 for these, and I can guarantee they probably don't cost very much in bulk for them. And then complete with good packaging and marketing, and you have a hit product. Next up, yeah, continuing on watches. This is a more established brand, of course, Noah. But just want to reiterate the point of collaboration and coming up with cool designs. I like this one a lot. This whole like moon face watch, having something conceptual with it, and really for just any product, I think if you can tie it in, making it aesthetically look cool from a design standpoint, but also tying in like a higher concept or idea with it. From a conceptual standpoint, really ties the whole thing together and is what makes a really good product. Everything I'm going to show you has been all hits. These have all sold well or going to sell well. Like I have no doubt in my mind, these pencil shades are going to sell very well. This video itself got like 2.1 million views, and then Fishing for Skill, all their like accessory stuff does very well. You can tell from an engagement standpoint. It just all this performs very well on social and converts to actual sales as well. This Timex watch with Noah did very well. I know they had to do a massive pre-order for this because of the demand. Moving on, I want to move on to card holders and wallets. If you follow my TikTok at all, it's something I talk about a lot because my personal hero product, if you will, or thing that's done like very well for me has been this. Where's this at? has been these card holders I've been doing. I think card holders and wallets in general are pretty like boring for most brands. It's just like most brands just slap on their logo and call it a day. So for me, all I did was, of course, I had the logo, but then I did the contrast stitching, the all over print embossing from my logo for my brand, and then my other main point of differentiation was this little quote I put on the back. So for each colorway I've done a new quote. Of course, I did new colorways, and these have sold extremely well for me. So this brand Cielos does some really cool work. I want to highlight this tribal clutch. They play on a lot of nostalgia, so it makes sense for them to tap into like Game Boy. And so that's from the packaging standpoint to the actual like design of the holder itself. I like all of this. It says Game Boy, it says Game Over, Cielos LA. They also did another much different one. They did this Gene Tag card holder, obviously playing off the Levi's logo. I think this one's really cool. Again, a lot of these are items that you're going to sell for an okay amount, but the margins are just really good because it doesn't cost a lot for you to make these things. I'd imagine most of these are probably costing no more than 20. I mean, maybe for like the watches that are like really nice, costing a decent amount, but like these card holders can guaranteed cost like $10 tops landed. Mine personally, I'll tell you, cost me between $6 to $7 landed, including the packaging for them. And you're going to be selling these things for 30, 40, 50, $60. Really good margins. Again, the watches, like I said, you can charge well over $100. These shades, I'm sure, don't cost a ton, besides the sampling cost from like the molds and whatnot. And I'm sure I'll be selling in like the $70 to $80 range if I had to guess. So yeah, really like this work by Cielos and their work with card holders and wallets. I think it's still super untapped. Moving on this subject is Euphoric Supply. I think they're probably the best example of being creative with card holders and wallets. And they actually have super low price points, in my opinion, too low. But yeah, they have this like dollar wallet from SpongeBob. If you're familiar with it, you'll get it $20. They have this gummy worm one they did for 35, an emergency wallet. They have a Doodle Bob wallet, Pop Tarts, cheese, gummy worms, brownies. Like they have pretty much everything that's kind of rooted in like nostalgia or like food or things of that nature. They tie it together with really unique packaging, and also if they're able to charge $15 to $20, I can guarantee A, they're selling a lot, but B, they're also probably only spending like $3, $4, $5 tops landed for a lot of these. So again, I think this is a great example of a brand that does the creativity part very well. I would argue that they should be charging more for their price point, but again, that's up to them. And moving on from kind of like card holders, wallets, accessories, I want to look at like some bracelets. You've probably seen some different brands do bracelets like this. I know it actually came up and the Drought did one. Let's see. I know they've done a handful of different ones, kind of the same style. The very simple bracelet with the different logos or icons on it, like this. Euphoric Supply's done something very similar with just different like things, if you will. So we have like the Lucky Charms one. We have the Zoo Pals. Yeah, I think this is a really simple idea. It might be a little overplayed. Maybe not too much. I mean, I feel like this was popular like a couple years ago. A lot of brands were doing this, and then kind of dialed back. They did this little like candy one. Again, this is a product I might even look into doing one for my own brand. That sells like pretty well. If you can do something that's either rooted in nostalgia or just something that's very creative. And again, they're charging $45 here. I think the Drought ones were like 50 to 60, and they probably cost like five, no more than 10 to make, if I had to imagine. Next one we'll look at is belts. Again, just another product that's very simple, but I think can be iterated on more. So we have this artist or slash brand Colin Vest who actually crushed it with this snake belt. Snake belt. And it's just a cool concept with the belt and the snake. What it clasps is with the snake like eating or biting the belt. Really cool, good photography, good marketing in general. Really went all in on this release, and I'm pretty sure he crushed it with this one. Did a pre-order, and it has done very well. Cool concept, and again, just getting back to if you're creative with these types of concepts, essentially these are a lot of accessories that I think don't get enough attention from a creative standpoint, and so that's why there's so much room for potential. If we look at Fugazi's, or Fugazi, however you want to say its recent release, and the last release they did, they sold out very first this belt, this Western belt. Again, pretty like on brand for them in terms of their Americana and the central theme to some of the recent projects. But yeah, cool product. Charging 86, and again, I can't imagine they're charging like more or paying more than like $15 to get these made. And again, just comes down to creativity and iterating on existing products. And I think this is a cool, not for me, but I can see why it did very well. And then moving on, one thing I want to talk about is this concept of like brands kind of like almost inventing or developing their own products. So the best example I can give is Tom Bogo, who recently did this pocket cam. And so it's essentially like a portable camera, but it has a selfie cam and it's got these built-in filters. And I just think it's a really cool product that people definitely like appreciated and saw the value in. I wish I could find some more examples of it in use. Also to note with this release, which was really smart, is they did a lot of seeding with influencers. I recognize a lot of people that I follow that were influencers, different things from like music to like fashion and whatnot. Were posting videos about this, so there's clearly some very big seeding that went on. Yeah, example, I forget his name, big on TikTok. All these artists and different people have been doing different videos on it, so it just really exploded the impact and obviously the attention for these cameras. They sold out, of course. And yeah, just a cool product that was like not really something that, brands don't really do cameras unless they were to do like a disposable camera thing, like that's been done before. But almost like completely inventing a new product, more or less, like this, I think was a killer concept. Definitely paid off for them. Obviously, they got to charge a pretty good price point for it. I think like 300, and then they dialed it back to like 200 for like the official release or something like that. But yeah, if you're able to like almost come up with an entirely new product or something that's like kind of new, I think there's a lot of room for that as well. And getting back with all these products is that I just want this to be a way for you to think about expanding your product catalog and also just getting attention, leading to sales, especially if like your newer brand. Even for myself, this is something I'm thinking about a lot. Is okay, so certain SKUs have been selling well, some haven't. But how can I create some new anchor products or even potentially have a hero product that is something that's just making my life easier by designing something that's untapped, has a lot more potential versus like the hoodies, graphic tees, pants, your traditional garments. There's a lot more not saturation because it's just everything, but there's just a lot of product out there in those spaces, and I think it's just easier to come back to something that's not as you know used in a creative way. This card holder, like I said, my original hero product or product that sold the best when I first released was this Dear Planet hoodie. Like this green one right here is the very first product I released. Then I did a brown one, and then this year I did a purple one, and then now I've kind of gone away from it because I don't want to sell them as much anymore and kind of move on from that concept. But yeah, I did this card holder last year. Took a big gamble, made like 100 pieces of them, and sold out in a pretty short amount of time. I think it was just because I charged a pretty reasonable price point, even though I was already making good money on them, and I had some differentiation and some small tweaks that I made as opposed to the traditional, just very basic logo embossing and calling it a day. I did this blue one, and then of course I did a new quote. This one says "Talk less, listen more," and then I went on to doing a green and black one that I just did for Black Friday, and these again crushed it. New quotes. Yeah, I just think that's something to think about. So yeah, that's kind of all I had for today. Just want to give some good examples and just kind of get the mind thinking. If you're a fellow brand owner or just someone thinking about starting a brand, or even if it's non-fashion related, what are those products within your niche or space that are more untapped, especially from a creative standpoint, and then ones that also already have an inherently good built-in margin. So I think a lot of these are good examples. Like I said, glasses, card holders, belts, watches, bracelets, wallets. I think I forgot to talk about ties. That was one I was also going to talk about. Fishing for Scale did this. Where is it at? Maybe this like AK-47 tie. I think this is like kind of crazy. It's very on brand for them, but also like very attention grabbing. Most people don't iterate or create ties like this. So yeah, just a really cool concept that performs well on social. Again, builds sales, builds attention. Just win is really at the end of the day what it comes down to. But yeah, that's all I've got. So yeah, we'll continue to be posting out more content, and I'm really appreciating all the support recently. So drop a like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what's going on with you guys, your brands, or whatever creative endeavors you're on. And until then, I will see you guys next time. Thanks.